Hi everybody, it's Doreen, and now that I've gotten the Christmas cards out of the way, I'm back today with a birthday card that I've made for my father-in-law who will be turning 81. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Okay everybody, so I'm going to bring up the supplies so we can get started on this birthday card. So now, my card measures 8.5 by 5.5, and I've taken it and scored it in half to make it a 4.25 by 5.5 inch card. So the next thing I want to go ahead and do is I want to go ahead and lay down my top layer. And this cardstock is some cardstock that I've had for several years. I don't even know where I got it from. I think it was some cardstock that someone was throwing away at work, and they asked me did I want it. So now my top layer, this cardstock is from the Natural Matte Stack that's by DCWV. I really like this matte stack because it has a lot of cardstock in here that can be used for making male cards or masculine cards, which I don't know about the rest of you, but I sometimes have a hard time trying to think of a card to make for a man. So now, my top layer of cardstock measures 4 inches by 5.25 inches. And I'm going to just go ahead and lay it down on my card. And the other thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and score my cardstock some more so that my card lays flat. So there, so it doesn't fly open. So now, before we go ahead and tape this down, I want to go ahead and add my ribbon. Now, this ribbon I've used before on my last Christmas card from the Christmas card series, and this is actually some felt ribbon. So I thought it would be okay because it kind of looks like something masculine. So I'm going to line it up, and we're going to use the cheater method to lay this down. So I'm going to move my card to the side for just a minute. And then I'm going to take a pencil, and I think I'm going to use this side since this side was already folded down. And just mark lightly where I want this to lie. Like so. And then I'm just going to take and get some tape. And then I'm going to line up. And I didn't measure how much ribbon I'm using. I just went ahead, took it across the cardstock, and then cut it. So, because this is felt, I want to add just one more piece of tape, just for measures to make sure that it does stay down. So let's flip it over again real quickly and make sure I've got it lined up. And then I'm going to take some more tape and I'll flip it back over real quick, and then I'm just going to go ahead and take this end down as well and tape another piece across there. Now, because I want this to lay flat, I'm going to take my glue gun and just put a little dab of glue along here on the side, just so that my ribbon lays flat. And I'll get some glue right there, and then I'm just going to press down. So now I'm ready to add my top layer to my card. So I'm going to go ahead and get out my ATG gun, and we're going to run some tape along the edges here. And then I'm going to go ahead and get some tape in the middle. Now, I did not ink my edges on this cardstock because I didn't want to take away from the cardstock itself. It's such a nice, manly looking cardstock. I thought I just wouldn't touch it and wouldn't ink the edges. So now let's just go ahead. I've opened up my card so we can line this up. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press down all the way around and along the sides there. I especially want to get my edges where I've got my ribbon laying, like so. So now we're ready to go ahead and add our embellishments. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've gone ahead and cut out this wheel, and this wheel is actually, at least that's what I'm calling it. It is from, let's see which card, the Sweet Treats cartridge. And the handbook looks like this, and it is on page 52. Now they're calling it a flower, but because I didn't want to put a flower on the card because it is a masculine card, I've decided to go ahead and do something a little different so it wouldn't look so much like a flower. So what I've gone ahead and done is, first of all, I'm going to tell you what I cut it at and which key that is on your gypsy. That is key number 29, and it looks like this. And I cut that at 2.5 inches. And that was just 2.5 inches without taking the aspect ratio off or doing anything with the real dial size. So once I cut it out, I thought, okay, it does look somewhat like a flower. So I went ahead and I took some twine that I had that looks like this, and I started by running the twine through one of the spokes, and then I taped it on the back. And as you can see, I've got pretty messy back there. And then I just kept winding it around, turning it, winding it, turning it, winding it, turning it, and I did that all the way around. And then once I had it completed, I then took and used my IROC tool and made a brad for the center. So I also went ahead and inked my edges using the Tim Holtz Distress ink, and I used the Vintage Photo. So I thought, okay, it doesn't look too much like a flower. It's more like a wheel. So we're going to go ahead and add this to the card, and I'm going to put glue on the back to add this. I'm not going to pop this up with the dimensionals because the actual twine is already making it pop up. So then I'm going to place it right there, and then I'm going to press down and hold just for a few seconds. Like so. So now I'm going to go ahead and add my little label, and this label is from the Fabulous Finds cartridge, and the handbook looks like this, and the label that I cut, they're actually calling it a book plate, and it is on page 82. So what I did, and we're going to go to the gypsy because I did take the aspect ratio off to make it be a little narrower than what it really is. So it is key number 1, and it looks like this. And what I did was I went to that one and I took the aspect ratio off, and I made the height 0.90 and the width is 3.44. And the other thing that I went ahead and did was I went up to my Advanced tab and I clicked the Hide Contour, and I removed the center so that it would cut out as one piece. And then the next thing I did was I took my Vintage Photo again and inked my edges all the way around, and then I added these brads that look like little buttons on the end, and then I took the Tim Holtz Gathered Twigs ink and I stamped out, "Let us wish you a happy birthday." And lettuce is being spelled Lettuce. And I picked this stamp set up. It's a Scrappy Mom stamp set, and it's the Pinch and a Dash is what it's called. And the website is scrappymomstamps.blogspot.com. And I'll put the actual email address or the website up here in the video. So I've got this popped up on some foam tape, so we're going to go ahead and take the foam tape backing off. And then we're going to add this to the card. So now I'm going to go ahead and I want to add that just right there in the center of the card, like so. So now the last thing I'm going to go ahead and add to the front of the card is my father-in-law will be 81 years old, so I'm going to go ahead and put 81 right down here in the center. And I got these numbers from the Sweethearts cartridge, and I've already showed that handbook before, but it looks like this. And the numbers are on here with the little candles at the top. So the 8 is on page 72, and the 1 is on page 65. And all I did was just cut out the numbers like so. I didn't hit my shift key, or I didn't do a shadow or a blackout. I just cut the numbers plain. So I'm going to go ahead and add these. And I'm going to use the glue gun to add them because this is felt ribbon on the back of here, or on that I'll be adding these to. There might be, if I try to do it with tape or glue, it might not stay, but I believe the hot glue gun will work perfect. So I've got the number 8 down, and now we're going to add the 1. And I could have welded these together, but I decided not to. I just decided to cut them out separately, because I initially was going to put them in here, and then I remembered I had that twine and I wanted to try something different. So I just went ahead and decided to just do it this way instead. So we need to make sure we get them lined up to be the same height. And there we have it. So that is the front of the card. So now let's go ahead and we're going to add the inside sentiment. And for my inside sentiment, I'm using the Fiskars Make-A-Wish quotes again. And it has several different birthday wish quotes on here. And the quote that I've decided to use is, "Youth is the gift of nature, but age is the work of art." So I'm just going to go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to ink up my stamp, and I'm going to use the gathered twigs. And I'm not going to use my Stamp-A-Ma-Jig, so I'm just going to line this up and eyeball it. Make sure I get my stamp inked up well. And then the other thing I need to remember to do is pull out my mat that I use when I'm stamping with the clear stamps. And then I'm just going to go ahead and line it up where I think I want it, and then I'm going to press down and lift up. So that's our inside sentiment. So that's it, everybody. This is the card that I've made for my father-in-law for his 81st birthday. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.